All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Great Minds. Today we'll be starting a fresh course entirely called Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. I promised us at the last class that we'll be doing a different application entirely. I believe the last class we had, that is CorelDRAW. I promised us that we'll be starting another different application, which is Photoshop. Of course, Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop is an advanced software to CorelDRAW, okay? Yet there are still graphics, okay, applications that we can use to do graphics design. And today I will be doing Photoshop, okay? And I we want you to pay good attention to at least grab everything I'll be teaching us today, just the way I did that of corridor. Of course, you can as well go through Google and type your Adobe Photoshop, and you can go to a website called getintopc.com, and you can get the ISO application there, and you download it. So I'm launching this Photoshop today, and we'll be having a very interesting class with this Photoshop application. All right, so I'm launching it already. So this is Adobe Photoshop. Um, of course, this is the 2020 version. Okay, of course, they have a series of them, and we'll be doing a very interesting class today. But before then, I want us to have this at the back of our mind that Photoshop has a whole lot of features compared to CorelDRAW, okay, and that is why it is an advanced um, graphics application to CorelDRAW. All right, today, of course, this interface of Photoshop is totally different from that of CorelDRAW, and you can see the way it is. All right, once you come to this create new, of course, it will show you the previous works you've done, right? And to start up with, you just click on create new, all right, and to bring you to this interface where we have the new document. Okay, now we have that of clipboard, custom, and thereabout. There are plenty of them. Okay, now here by the right hand side of it, we have the, of course, remember this is the unit. Okay, in corridor we call it unit, but here it's not called unit. You just see it the way it is. Of course, we have that of width and we have that of height, and normally we normally use our inches. Okay, and the resolution, sometimes normal resolution for design here, I use 300. Okay, I use 300, and the color mode, of course, I use that of RGB. Sometimes others use CMYK, but me, I prefer using RGB, okay, because it will give you the exact the sharp exact sharp color you've chosen. All right, of course, this is the background content. Normally I leave it in white, so I can just click on create. But before then, you need to choose your paper size, right? So you need to choose your paper size based on the size you want, but notwithstanding, we are not actually going to that of paper size. Of course, you can put in any size you want here, right? And you can just click on create. All right, this is Adobe Photoshop. Just like I told us, if you pay a good attention to the classes we'll be having in CorelDRAW, Photoshop will not be exceptional. It's just additional one or two features, okay, which I will be teaching us as an advanced student, as the case may be, because CorelDRAW, I started it from scratch. Though this one too, I'll be starting it from scratch, but then there are some things I will not be I may not be bringing back. I may not be explaining it at the way I explained in that of CorelDRAW, but very simple one. Of course, you know this where we have the file, edit, image, and co is called the menu bar, right? And this very under it is the property bar we have, but it's not listed or it's not arranged the way we have it in that of CorelDRAW. Okay, now we should focus more on this left toolbox. Of course, we have this in every application, in every graphics application, you always see this very um this very toolbox here. This is to tell you that this toolbox is what makes up is one of the important active bar that makes up this Photoshop, right? And here at the right hand side, of course, we have the color mode, we have the layers, we have the channel, we have the paths, we have the layer library adjustment and co. All right. And as time goes on, we'll be touching on all this. But very quick one, I would just like to start with the first one where we, of course, you know what this is all about. Whatever you pick from any from this second one to the last, of course, you always return it back here. And one interesting aspect of this application too is that it shows you the shortcuts in brackets open and close. Okay. So if I pick any two from here and after applying it, I can press my V, right? So V means return back what you picked. Okay. So that is what we have here. And others, of course, we've seen their shortcuts. We have the rectangle marquee tool, which is the M, like that. If you want to pick your text is T, just strike the T button in your keyboard and it will just come up like that. So now very quick one, of course, you know, file is where we can open, we can save, like that. Okay, edit is where you can copy paste, okay, and cut like that. Okay. And very quick one, we'll be starting with this rectangle. Of course, I told us that um anytime you're dealing with any toolbox here and you end up seeing a black arrow by the right down part of it, is telling you that there is something under it. You just press and click. Either you click and hold and you see it, it will explore it for you. But today I'll be teaching us this very toolbox, that of rectangle marquee tool and that of lasso tool. Of course, it has other features under it. So I want us to focus more on this. Okay. Now, before we can commence our class fully, please, if you are new to this channel, do well to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for subsequent video. And I want to implore you to pay a good attention to this application because it is one of the best application you can ever learn. Okay, you can everly learn because there are so many brushes we need to show you and there are so many things we need to do. We can as well link this Photoshop to CorelDRAW. Remember in our one of our classes we had once, I think one of our classes we had in CorelDRAW, we try removing background from picture. Of course, we did it in a local way because that is CorelDRAW for you. So in this, you see the way I link my Photoshop with my CorelDRAW. Anything that has to do with picture or brushes or some other effect that I may want in future to come, what I need to do is I come to Photoshop. I even sometimes I come to this Photoshop to formulate my background, then take it back to CorelDRAW, and I'll just use it. Okay. So most graphic artists, this is what they do. Now, one of the differences between CorelDRAW and Photoshop is this. CorelDRAW, whenever you save CorelDRAW, whenever you have something that you've done in CorelDRAW and you save it, maybe you did it halfway and you end up saving it and maybe come the next day to continue, it usually creates a backup. Backup in the sense that the backup may be 70% of what you've done. It will bring you back to 70% of the 100% you've done. So that's your main work still remains the 100%, but the backup will bring you back to 70%. Meaning, whenever you lost that your 100% work, right? So you discover that it will bring you back to you have the advantage of going through the backup. What I mean by that is, of course, some of our work you're seeing. Of course, we have awards 2020 here, but we're having the award backup. All right, we have backup of award 2020, meaning if this very award 2020, if I misplace it or I mistakenly delete it from my system, I can as well come back and open the backup and continue where I stop. But then it will not bring it as 100% as the way the main file is. Either it will bring you back to 70 or 75% of what you've done before you're able to achieve that of 100%. Okay, so that is one differences between CorelDRAW and Photoshop. But in this Photoshop, it doesn't create backup. Of course, why they did it like that is because they know that you are advancing to a higher graphic application. Of course, you are being advised that before you can even use this Photoshop to do design, you should have a good system, okay, a good system that can serve you well. And of course, anything you're doing, you can be saving as well. So once you save something once and for all, it has saved. It doesn't create backup. All right, it doesn't create backup. And one other thing about this Photoshop is most of the effects, okay, they are just hidden. All right, and you find most of them here in layers. All right, you find most of them here in layers, so it's not as open the way we have that of corridor, that you can as well draw rectangle here, and you can just see your color here instantly and it will just come out like that, like that. It's not like that in Photoshop. Photoshop, we it's just an advanced software that most things are hidden there. All right, but if you have a full idea in this our class that we've done previously on corridor, you may not have much challenge here in Photoshop. Meanwhile, if you still have questions to ask, please do well to drop it in our comment section, and I will respond to you as soon as I can. So today, very quick one. Of course, this is interface, right? Very quick one. We'll be doing these two tools that we have in toolbox. All right. So let's assume I have this my okay. I have this I think I go to my download and let's say I copy and paste this here. Okay, now you discover that I copied and paste. Okay, it's not pasting, but once I come to corridor and paste, you discover that what I copied here has been pasted. So it's telling you that Photoshop has its own way of bringing in something, okay, to the layer, I mean to the a workable area. And one other thing I remember to tell us here now is that look at the left down right down side of the Photoshop interface. You discover that there is a key that is locked. Okay, it's just as if anything I want to do here now is it can't be done because of what I've not actually done something. So once I click on it, it's telling me that the currently selected layer is a background layer. You cannot move a background layer or change the stacking order, blending mode, or opacity. It means I need to unlock it. All this grammar is just for you to unlock this before you can actually even move this white background you're seeing. So how do you unlock it? Just double click on this key. All right. Now you discover that it has been opened. All right. You discover that the key is not there again. It means I can shift this. All right. This is what is happening. Equally, I can equally give it the color. But a very quick one, more of the way this toolbox is as important as anything in this Photoshop. So do this layer is very important, okay, in Photoshop, because as time goes on we'll be doing one or two things here, because under it we have this effects and co, okay, they are merged. All right, we have the opacity. Of course, it's not the way we have it in corridor. We have the opacity where you can transparent. All right, of course we have the transparency here. Very it's very easy to locate. You can click on your transparent and just locate it there and maybe transparent it. And but in that of Photoshop it is not like that. Okay, so what I want us to do now is I've unlocked, right? So I need to, let's say, drag this in. So you agree with me that it will now be inserted simply because I have unlocked this very key that was locked before. All right, so let's very quick one, let's press and hold and see what we have here. We have rectangle marquee 2. Let's see what we can achieve here. Let's assume I want to cut out this from here. All right, so only what I just need to do, either I press my Control X or I go through my edit, then click on cut. But you discover that the Control X and the Control V is not working. So it means Photoshop has rules and regulations. Now, if you still go back to that your layer where we have this very picture that we've inserted, there are something we need to do. Okay, in as much as any picture you are inserting on inside this Photoshop is concerned, there is a particular function or command you need to press just the way you unlock this white background before it was able to be moved like this, the way you are seeing it. Okay, same will you do to any picture or object you bring inside Photoshop. So what you need to do, you need to rasterize it. That is, you need to unlock it. You need to make it to be workable. That is, you need to make it to be editable. Because I tried cutting out this part of this, all right, and I click on Control X. It's not going through. I clicked on my edit, tried to press my cut, but the cut is not actually going through because the Control X is inactive, but the copy and copy merged is active. It means there is this thing I have not done. Okay, there is a command that I need to press before it to be effective. So which is that command? That command is simply E. Once you strike your E, okay, you discover that something has changed. But before then, let's see what happens here. Now, watch this very picture here. You discover that there is something under it. Okay, there is something under it. It's trying to tell you that the way we have this arrow under each of these two boxes is the same way we have something under this picture I've inserted, because I needed to do a command before it to be open. Okay, so once I press the E, all right, my mouse pointer changes to something like circle that has a black strike at the middle of it, meaning once I press it, something will appear. Now let's read together and see. It says this smart object must be rasterized before proceeding. Edit content will no longer be available. Rasterize the what smart object. Once I click on OK, you watch that this very thing you're seeing will just disappear from this picture. It means it has lose now it has been open, meaning I can now do anything I want to do to it. Okay, just why I unlocked this very white background before I can move this white background is the same thing I've done to this. Automatically, what it means that once you bring anything like picture or anything like object, you need to rasterize, and simply to rasterize it, you strike your E key on your keyboard and press it, and that command will show. You click on OK, and before you know, it has been unlocked, so you can do anything you wish you could do. Now if I come back to this my rectangle marquee tool, now any place I try cutting off, let's assume I want to cut off here. All right, once I go to my edit, you discover that the cut is not active the way the copy is active. So once I cut it, you discover that that very point is now empty, so we can move it to see that it's empty, right? It's empty, automatically is empty. So if I still go back to that edit and click on paste, which is Ctrl V, you discover that that very point I cut off. Okay, look at it here. It means it has been cut off. Okay, so I believe we've learned something here. What's exactly what we learned here now is I can go through my picture, just drag a picture in, make sure you need to rasterize the picture. Okay, then before you can as well work with it. Okay, now if I don't press my E key, okay, using my keyboard and click on it to rasterize it, I cannot work on it. So now I think we've gotten this very clear. So automatically all what you're seeing here is all about cutting off something, cutting off a particular place or portion of a picture. If it is here I want, I cut it off. Okay, I can paste it. Now it's totally out. Okay, it's totally out from this very one. That is all we have about this very tool. Okay, we have the single roll. This is single roll. Cutting off, everything that we are doing here is all about cutting off. And another thing I want us to understand is, let's assume I end up dragging. Okay, once we left click and drag, you discover that something dotted will keep rounding the particular place where you dragged. And let's assume you mistakenly dragged it and you want it to go off. What do you press? Okay, all these shortcut key, we need to know it in as much as this Photoshop is concerned. So what I need to do is I'll press Ctrl D. Ctrl D will only disappear any of these thing you pick, any of this mark you pick. All right, be it circle, be it rectangle, just name it. Okay, just the work of these two particularly is just to cut off a particular portion of either a shape or a text. Okay, now in as much as you don't want it, you can just press your Ctrl D and it will disappear. That is what it means, and that is the reason why if you pick it, you discover that your the area where you want to cut has already been set. So just what you need to do, you can drag it. If it is here you want to cut, you Control X, all right, and paste it, and it's totally different. And a whole lot of advantages in this Photoshop, because there are so many things I can do. Of course, I know we are still coming to that. I can as well change totally the color of this, as the case may be, right? I can just change the color of this particular one where I cut. Okay, there are so many things to achieve in this Photoshop, and I just want you to be taking it gradually one after another, right? So that is all about this. And the next one we have is that of lasso tool, and under lasso tool we have the polygonal tool and the magnetic tool. All this thing has to do with trimming. Okay, trimming of background of different kinds. So let's assume I still have, okay, let's assume I drag this in. Okay, let's assume I drag this in. Of course, I'll just whenever you drag something in, okay, you always see this line crossed like X. It means it's asking you if the position you want this thing to be, if you are okay where it is. If yes, either you press enter to say okay, or you go to your property bar and click on what, this good. So this good, what this good does is it will just okay it for you. So exactly what we want to do here now. Remember, I need to rasterize this shape, else I cannot do anything with it. So I'll just press E, right? I'll strike my E and I'll just click on OK. Now it's now open for me to work with it. So the next thing I need to do, let's see what lasso tool will do. I'm trying to remove background, right? So I'll just, this one now is you left click and hold and drag it, okay? And you keep on doing what you're doing, like try to trace it, and if you're done, you can join it back. Okay, so once I Control X and paste, okay, now what I've done now is I can hide this background and this one shows. Okay, of course I never cut this thing in a perfect way the way I needed it, so I'll Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Of course Control Z is to undo, right? So it brings me back. And one other advantage of this, we can duplicate this layer by right clicking here, and you see where they say duplicate layer. I'll say yes. Okay, so I have two layers now. I can hide one. Of course, this eye you are seeing is either you show it or you hide, you show it or you hide. Same thing with this background white. I can hide it or show it, right? So in as much as I've duplicated this, I want to work on this, so that after this working on this, I can delete this and still activate this and still duplicate it and use it for whatever I want to make use of it for. All right, so that is it for this lasso tool. So let's go to let's ignore this polygonal tool. Let's go to this magnetic tool and see what we can achieve. This one now you don't need to press, just just be taking your mouse anywhere your mouse is, automatically the computer will be setting it for you as what. I'm not clicking, I'm just rounding this this mouse pointer where this very picture is, and at the end of the day I can just come and join, right? So did it give us 100% of trimming? Did it trim this picture 100%? The answer is no. How do we do it? I can zoom. Of course, look at zoom tool here, right? And the zoom tool now, what you're seeing here is Z, right? And one interesting aspect of this Photoshop is whichever tool you want to pick, once you point at it, it will give you the work. It will just bring the work of what the tool is all about. Now, this text, I point at this text now, is telling me that is a text where you can type in something. Now it has written Adobe, right? It has written Adobe, right? So same thing with this rectangle. If it is this rectangle I want, of course it will just do a rectangle for you. Okay, you see, so that is one interesting aspect of this. So for zooming I can press Z. Of course, if I told you one thing they use in knowing a good graphic artist is shortcuts. So I've known all these things, but I'm just teaching us as people who are new to this. Okay, so I can just press Z to zoom. I'll now look at the plus sign in the mouse. Once I press it, you see the plus sign is telling me that wherever my mouse pointer is pointing, that is where computer will focus on zooming, right? And if I want to zoom out, instead of me pressing the left click, I'll focus on pressing the right click. So I'll focus on pressing if I press the right click, you see where we have fit on screen, or zoom 100%, or zoom and print to size, okay, or zoom out, or zoom in, like that, like that, like that. Okay. But one other shortcut, the way you can zoom easily, is you hold your alternative, okay, and you use your scrolling that your scrolling mouse, that scrolling in between the left and right key in your mouse pointer. So once you hold your alternative, strike your alternative key and be scrolling, you can scroll up and scroll down. But the idea is anywhere is pointing, that is where it will scroll for you. Okay, that is one interesting aspect of this. All right. So this is the disadvantage of that magic, alright? The magnetic lasso tool. Of course, it will not select everything you need. Now watch, now it has cut off this hand, because once I press my Control X, it will cut off the hand, but this very point, okay, is missing. So once I paste it now and decide to hide, you discover that we are having lapses here, okay, and some of the backgrounds, of course, we'll be seeing it not that too clear. All right, okay. So let's go for, okay, let me delete this, duplicate this layer. Okay, another way to duplicate layer is hold your alternative and drag down. Automatically it will duplicate. So once I show this, if I make it to be visible by making this eye to show, let's go for the polygonal laser tool. So let's see what happens. Polygonal laser tool will help you to um it will help you to trace this very picture, okay, starting from where you want it, and where you want it to start and where you want it to stop. Okay, just keep clicking and you can zoom. Of course, you can zoom using your key. Where we have the plus and minus, where we have the plus and minus in your numerical key, okay, you see this, okay, so you can plus, you can minus, and once you finish, just no need of joining, just double click and press delete, okay, and press delete. This is what happens. All right, it has been deleted. So same thing happens. I will continue, okay, I'll just continue like that, like that, like that. I can zoom by pressing my where we have the plus and minus in the keyboard. So like that, like that, I will just be, okay, I will just be so what we are having here now, I'm trying to trim. I want us to see the advantage of using this polygonal laser tool to that of magic or that of lasso tool. So it will give you the full it is giving you the full function of what actually you applied for, and anyhow you want it to be is what you see. All right, and let's assume you end up making a mistake. You can as well go back. Let's assume I mistakenly just enter where we have the face, okay, and I'm trying to go back. I can press backspace, 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 backspace. This is what is happening. So I can keep backspacing, I can keep backspacing, right? So that is one interesting aspect of this Photoshop. No, normally while we're still having that of CorelDRAW class, you remember that we did trimming in CorelDRAW. Of course, you can't compare trimming of CorelDRAW to that of Photoshop, because Photoshop is more advanced to CorelDRAW, okay? You can't compare the Photoshop with CorelDRAW because Photoshop is more advanced, alright? So what we're doing now, we're trying to trim. Now if you watch very well, you discover that the glasses, inside the glasses, we still need to trim the background inside there, so we just have to do one after another, right? So I'm just taking my time to finish up this. Okay, I'm taking my time to finish up this, and after that we can still go back to the glass and we'll do the needful, right? Of course, after all this, I'll show us the shortcut in trimming this background. I'm just trying to show us different ways in which we can achieve the trimming of picture. And after that, I will still relate it to bringing this picture to CorelDRAW instead of you see most of graphic artists, most of graphic designers you see, they don't do trimming in CorelDRAW, but we did that of CorelDRAW trimming because we just want to start from somewhere, because I know we are still getting to this. So once I need to do, I'll just double click it to join it. I'll control X and I'll control V so I can delete this background, right? So inside is my glass, same thing will happen. I'll just trace it. Okay, so I'll just trace it. Of course, I'm pressing delete, but it's not deleting. Okay, okay, something happened here now. I tried to press delete after selecting where I want to delete, but it's not deleting. So if you watch very well, you discover that something happened. Okay, I pressed delete, it's not deleting because I was actually, I clicked on the one I hide the eye. Okay, I'm supposed to click on the active one which is showing, so that once I press delete it will just obey me and delete. Okay, so whenever we are working on any layer, we should actually be mindful of the layer we have clicked. Okay, and know the one we are working on, so that the computer will not be striking a command that will make the computer not to actually obey us as the user. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now, the idea of this now is, if I'm done with this, I can as well hide this background. Of course, anytime you see a background like this in Photoshop, it's trying to tell you that the background is empty. It has nothing. Okay, it has nothing. So at the end of the day, let's assume I'm done with this and I need to save it. I'll just Control S. Okay, I don't mind saving it on desktop, no problem. I can just say picture edits, right? I just want us to do, of course, the saving type will be Photoshop, right? I'll save it. I want to bring it to CorelDRAW and see how it will be. So what I need to look at the picture edit here, so I can copy it, can then bring it to Photoshop and paste it, right? I can bring it to CorelDRAW. I can then bring it to CorelDRAW and paste it, right? So if I just double click on background and give it background, of course you see it very clean that of course the something is has come to CorelDRAW without background. All right, so I can use it for my design. Okay, of course you cannot compare if it were in Photoshop before. Remember that whenever we have a background like this, okay, whenever we have a background like this that we need to trim. Remember, we are used to doing something here that we have to draw a rectangle, then draw it inside of this. Okay, then we'll now multi-select and click on trim, right? Remember, so that here can open for us. Then we will now pick our shape tool and begin to expand it. Remember, but in Photoshop, it is not like that. Okay, so in Photoshop, it's not like that. You have your free tool, okay, to actually get exactly what you want. So any color I give to it, here it remains open, right? But in Photoshop, it's not like that. Okay, Photoshop will give you a unique tool that you can use to actually get what you want. Now, all what we've done all this while, fine and good, we've actually achieved trimming this out using this two key, this what is it called, polygonal lasso tool, right? Of course, you know where what this magnetic lasso tool can do and what the lasso tool itself can do. But that's, I prefer using the polygonal lasso tool because it gives you the free access to actually do it the way you want and exactly what you want. Please, if you are new to this channel, do well to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell for subsequent video. I wish to stop here so that those that are still new in this Photoshop application, graphics application, we actually learn this and learn it very very well before we can continue to advance in our class. We have a whole lot here to achieve, and I know that you will not regret following me on YouTube. Thank you, as I anticipate to see you in my next video, and have a blessed day ahead. Bye.